Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian.
Speaking of other legal things, so that's a good segue.
Yes.
MLW suing WWE for
Yeah.
being pieces of trash.
And it's about time. Although I've heard that there's been other lawsuits like this that just never quite actually made it. This is the first one that's really making noise.
So like the pro WWE stuff I've been seeing about this like whole thing is like, well, this is a common practice. This has been going on for years, and like they have the what I mean. Like I guess there's the certain
Segregation was a common practice for a long time too. Guess what? That wasn't good either.
that was not a good idea.
No,
We're gonna go thumbs down on the segregation.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I love that. Oh, it's a common practice. We've been doing this forever.
Right.
It's the same thing when the Redskins changed their name. And it's been their name for that. Great. Guess what? There's been so many different things that have been common practices that as you get older and you start realizing, wow, that might not have been a good idea.
I mean,
This
not for
might
nothing.
not work.
There was a time in life where doctors didn't use anesthesia. They just kind of like drilled a hole in your head. And it's like,
Yep.
maybe
Or they said, hey, you're acting a little nuts, Sonny. Let's take out a little portion of your brain.
yeah,
That was a common thing too.
not a good idea anymore.
No.
Oh, right, exactly.
But no, it's. I mean, I know the WWE used to have like the wording in contracts. It's like if we rent this building,
They still do.
It's still like that. So I
Yep.
mean,
There's some buildings where AEW or New Japan, Ring of Honor have tried to get into, and WWE isn't locked down. They're exclusive rights to it.
right, so I know like the Barclays. You know what I mean? I know.
TD Garden's one of them.
Oh, is it okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I know like they like when they did that ROH New Japan show
Mhm.
at MSG, like WWE got, and that they at that
Yeah,
point, right?
WWE got involved in it, then they were going to sue them over it because MSG wanted them to run the shows, and WWE backed off and let them do it because they didn't want to go to court over it because they knew they'd lose.
So I mean, this doesn't seem to be it's like buildings, but more like
This is
I
TV
guess
shows,
I guess the
money.
biggest thing was the TV,
Mhm.
and that's like, I mean,
Two things. It's not just one. It was they were going to go on Tubi TV with the streaming show,
that's okay.
and it's owned by
And-
Fox. Fox owns Tubi TV, and WWE
Oh,
basically
okay.
said, "Well, we'll pull our programming off of Fox if you do this deal with them." And I guess the deal was already signed, and they were about to make the announcement, and then they backed out of it.
Ugh.
But what is that? I just don't understand the purpose that serves. Why would
I don't know.
you know what I mean? Like, not for nothing too. Now look at Access TV. It's like
Mhm.
you got Impact on,
Yep.
and then right after Impact is going to be New Japan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't. I mean, oh no, they have a working agreement with each other right now, but still,
They do now.
And what was it? Didn't Access? Didn't they do
They got rid of it. They
They did
canceled it.
but didn't they have an MLW special? A couple.
Vice
Was it-
TV did. That was the other
Vice,
thing that
that's
the
what I-
WWE got involved in. That was the thing that drew them over the line. They were supposed to have a deal for Fightland to do live shows every couple of months
That's
with
right.
MLW, and WWE somehow got involved in that. I don't know the whole deal with that one. They got that deal taken off too, because they only had that one special where Hammerstone beat Fatu for the
Right.
title.
The Uno's only an hour long, right?
And, yep, and it was supposed to be a series of those. Like once a month, they were supposed to have a special on Vice TV, and Vice TV said, "Oh, we can't do it anymore." Never gave them a reason. I guess WWE stuck their head in there and was whining and complaining. I don't know for what.
like what is, but like that's the thing. Why? I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe there's some kind of cooperation with the dark side of the ring, like maybe that, because I don't know how they get WWE footage unless there's like a fair usage or like a
Well,
or
there
something
are
like
that those WWE shows where they do the biographies and the at the warehouse. What channel is that on? Is that on A&E?
that was that yeah, A&E.
Yeah.
A&E owns Spike, so I have a feeling they probably use that as a, oh, well, we won't make any more of those programs. I bet that's what they did.
They own Spike or Vice.
A&E owns Vice. Well,
Oh, but okay.
Spike TV, Vice, it's the same
Oh, it
channel.
is the same. Oh, it is. Oh,
It
okay.
was, yeah. So they own it. I had to look it up. I thought they did. I wasn't 100% sure. But they own,
Nice.
so they probably said, we won't do any more A&E shows for you. And I know the ratings were really good for those.
Right. So
So
that's
I bet they pulled their weight on that and said, oh, you pull them off or we won't do anymore.
right. So
And
is
you
that
can't
how
do
they
that.
is that how they get all that footage for like because for the especially like those Dark Side of the Ring episodes, I mean the majority of them WWE, so it's
Those are supposed to be from personal people's collections because WWE does not want them to use any footage of their stuff.
because I've noticed they do a lot of like when there's like footage of like pay-per-views and
Mhm.
stuff, it's the WWE, like unless they, I mean, I don't know how any of that works like legally,
I
but
don't know, but I know WWE does not give them footage for it.
because they get a ton
At
of
least,
like,
or if we should at least say that they're not admitting they do. You never know. Maybe they
Right.
do. They never admit they do.
like the plane ride from hell episode, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, they were coming back from a pay-per-view, and they kept showing
Backstage stuff.
like they kept showing like footage, like actual pay-per-view footage from the from the pay, the
Well,
whatever
that they could
pay-per-view
do
was.
because it was broadcast in Great Britain or Paris on certain, like say CTV, and
So they can get the footage from them.
so they get it from them for that in
Oh,
that
okay.
case. Yeah.
So that's probably it. Yeah, they could just Canada or something.
Yeah,
I see.
right. They could get it from, say, maybe TSN has all the footage from Raw
Right.
and SmackDowns, and they get it from them instead of WWE itself.
Okay.
Because you just need the rights from somebody that owns the rights to be able to air show it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, but yeah, they're getting involved with the two things from MLW, costing them a bunch of money. I don't blame them for trying to get something out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
And it's not even. I mean, I'm sure it's at this point it's more like a principle, and
Yep.
hopefully they get something out of it. But at the same time, it's like just the more wrestling that's out there, it's like
Mhm.
it can only help you. You know what I mean? Like, oh
Mhm.
wow, what's this MLW stuff? Maybe okay, that's cool.
Right.
Like that could be somebody's first show.
And if they get a few more dollars in, they can probably sign a few more bigger names that people recognize, and they start to get a little bit bigger and bigger.
What's going to hurt this for MLW is that it's an antitrust lawsuit,
Mm-hmm.
which implies obviously that the WWE has a monopoly over the wrestling industry, and they don't. They clearly
Right.
don't. When
Yeah.
you look at, if this was 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
MLW would probably have a better leg to stand on because
Yep.
AEW wasn't doing what wasn't
Exactly.
around really.
Mm-hmm.
But now there is a viable option in AEW that proves that that the WWE does not have a monopoly.
Yep.
So it's going to hurt their case in that regard, but MLW may also just want to create some noise too.
Sure.
Sometimes you just try to bring someone to court just to kind of expose.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the case too with the steroid trial. I don't
Mhm.
think that was ever to have Vince go to federal prison. I think that was more to be like, hey, look what these guys are doing type of a thing.
Sure.
So I got a kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little accompaniment to the like a story.
Okay.
So when Christian back in like whatever it was when he started doing Captain Charisma.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a local indie worker around here. His with the last name Charisma. and then he started, I think, Chris Charisma, maybe.
Sounds about right. It sounds familiar, yeah.
And he started doing a superhero gimmick, almost like a Mighty Mouse. He came out to like the Mighty Mouse theme, and I forget, it wasn't Captain Charisma, but it was something close to that.
Yep.
And he actually like sent like not like a C&D or whatever, but he sent a letter to WWE basically like saying like, I have like video footage of myself using this gimmick, this whatever charisma superhero character. Like you can't call your guy Captain Charisma.
Mm-hmm.
And just whatever happened, WWE sent him like $3,000. And next thing you know, Christian was, stayed as Captain Charisma.
Right.
But it's like, I mean, if that's what MLW is trying to do, and just hopefully, WWE's like, here's a bunch of money, go away.
It could be.
Sure. But at the same time, I mean, who knows that? Like, I mean, weirder stuff has happened. That could easily, maybe that is something that just, like the judge or something's like, you know what? Like, I'm on the side of the little guy this time. And
Wouldn't be surprised.
Who knows? Something could, something crazier stuff has happened.
That's the other thing too. You never know who the judge is going to be.
No.
You could have a judge that is 100% behind something like MLW, like you just said, like looking for the little guy, or you could have somebody like, I think of, I always think baseball, when an antitrust lawsuit was brought up against Major League Baseball back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they got Kennesaw Mountain Landis to be the judge, who is a huge baseball fan, and obviously became commissioner and voted in favor of Major League Baseball. And still to this day, they are exempt against antitrust lawsuits. And again, if it was someone else, maybe that would have been a different story.
Sure. Right.
So you never know who you're going to get, which is another reason why they bring lawsuits out, because A, it exposes a lot of things, but B, it's the luck of the draw with who you're going to get as a judge. It's not always about the law.
No,
it's a lot to do with who you
that's
get.
The last thing that happens is the law. Exactly.
I brought up the Saudi Arabian thing earlier, but we never transitioned over there.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, we can go there.
I realized that a little while ago. I was like, wait, we never actually talked about it, did we?
No, we kind of jumped away from it.
Yeah, we did.
That's fine.
So yeah, the Elimination Chamber is going to Saudi Arabia, huh?
Yes, it is. Apparently so.
In a way, it makes sense only because it's the pay-per-view in between. So I see why they're doing that. But like you, Brian, I think the Saudi Arabian pay-per-views are not good. I don't like them.
Nope. I'll never
I don't watch them.
I'll never watch one.
I hate how they make them sound so special. Like it's almost like
after the big four, this is like the number 5 pay-per-view every year. They try to make it that way.
Especially that year they did the what was it, the Greatest Royal Rumble?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
It was 50 guys. The fact that they could actually fly over more than 50 people. You know what I mean? Like that,
was that the first show they did, or was that like the second show they did?
I think it was the second one. But I think the first one, didn't they just call it the first one Crown Jewel or something like that?
Crown Jewel was a super show.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that, yeah. And then the second one was and they had the friggin' belt. You know what I mean? The big green.
Oh yeah, that green belt. Yep. That no one ever spoke of after.
Nope.
No.
Oh, that's sitting in some Saudi prince's like just on his mantle.
Oh, it's in the princess. It's in the prince's office. I'm sure of it.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure. That can't leave. They can't leave the country.
100%.
Ron, if you come back, you can have it, but that's it.
That belt is mine. Amir made it for me.
I bet he could get one made.
Did he thank him?
I hope so.
The dementia, we never know.
Speaking of which, Jason, thank you so much for the title belts. Without you, our lives would not be as bright and full as they are currently. You, sir, are the greatest human being in the history of this world. And, we throw around the word hero a lot these days, but you, sir, are the greatest hero in American history.
Can I just mute you now?
I do that every week.
What's that TV show? That was the last. No, what was it? What the hell was it? The last American hero? Damn it! I gotta Google it now.
Last American Hero? Is that a movie?
It was like an old TV show.
$6 Million Man.
Greatest American Hero.
Knight Rider?
Hazzard. WKRP in Cincinnati.
Family Matters?
Great. Yes, it was Steve Urkel.
Three's Company.
Elf?
Yeah, the greatest American hero. It was a 1981 TV show. Mork and Mindy was awesome.
Talking in a low-key voice next to
Mork
some
and
celebrity's
Mindy.
grave.
Welcome to the best part of the podcast, the movie Wrestler of the Week. This week, it's Deanna Praza, the Impact Wrestling superstar, won the Ring of Honor title, and she won the AAA title. It was the AAA title, right?
A couple months ago, yes.
A couple months ago. So,
Rihanna de Champions or something is what it's called.
right, and she's going to re-win. I guarantee it. I'm guaranteeing it now, folks.
Uh-oh.
She's going to re-win that from Mickey James and the NWA executive producer.
It's Nostra Jaelis.
I'm doing it right now, predicting the future. Watch. Done.
Because the women, other than Jade Cargill, in AEW are actually incredibly talented and probably some of the best workers I've ever seen.
Even Anna Jay, who's still green, like she's
They just don't have the name because the WWE has the machine pumping behind people like Bianca and Sasha and Becky and Charlotte and all them. They've got the machine pumping. But to be honest with you, I don't see anything in AEW that doesn't match up or is not better than what WWE does as far as their women go. I think AEW has some of the best women wrestlers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty,
We could do that comparison sometime.
yeah, I would love to.
I'd be interested to see, yeah.
I would love to. And I think honestly right now, I think Britt Baker is still in both companies the top star right now in general.
she cleaned up on those PWI.
She got, what, 3?
3 of them, I think, right?
She sure did.
Was it most improved wrestler, or best women's wrestler, and I think
Match of the year with Thunder Rosa, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
She got the awards.
Deservedly so for all 3.
She
Oh,
got the awards that I gave her. Breakout star or most improved.
I think Tom read the PWI results before his
I wrote them.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's right. We don't have Russ today doing that every 5 seconds every time I speak.
Tom's actual name is Tom Apter. It's Bill's son.
Tom Apter.
I also loved when Britt Baker came out with Adam Cole this week.
I thought that was a cool layer to it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
but I also feel like him bringing in his girlfriend, that'll definitely kind of drive a wedge between the Bucks. I feel like, you know what I mean? That's like another step in the split between the two of them.
Oh, definitely. This whole week was a setup show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see it on like regular TV series and drama series where like you have, like, I think of The Walking Dead, you would have like 2 or 3 episodes that were nothing but action. Like, oh my God, I can't wait. And then you'd have the slow,
full of dialogue. Yeah.
but it was setting up the next series of action episodes that you were going to get.
Yep.
And that's what Wednesday night was.
Oh yeah, it
You
was
know,
a building show. Exactly.
It was completely a building show. They built so much and moved so much forward.
They did, but I do have I wouldn't say it's a problem, but like, so I feel like the whole Punk MJF thing, I feel like it's like the trials of Jericho all over again.
It seems that
I
way
agree.
now.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Too much.
It
Yeah.
100% looks like that.
It's so that's that kind of, I don't like that, but it's also, have you noticed that I feel like MJF's kind of lost a little bit, like because I feel like Punk kind of, I'm sure he's like, all right, you can't, don't, like he's not saying as much vulgar as he usually does.
Mhm.
And I feel like Punk's Punk's outdoing him on the mic. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, and that's kind of like what I was saying before. It's MJF without the shock value of some of the stuff that he says. It's not as I don't know. I just that's I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like he's like, he doesn't have that crutch to lean on, with the vulgar stuff. So, and it's kind of, he's kind of not knowing what to do. It's not as, I feel like Punk's been carrying him on the promos.
Oh, definitely. But Punk also has the experience though too. MJF is as good as he is, but Punk still has the experience.
No, I get that, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's MJF just, out of respect for Punk, not trying to be, you know what I mean? Like he's on the same level as Pillman, so he can be a complete asshole to Pillman because it's all right. You're on the same level, but to like, because when they first started feuding, I literally was like, okay, he's gonna talk him getting his ass whooped in the UFC. You know what I mean? He's gonna talk about him quitting. He's gonna talk about AJ at some point.
Nope, didn't do that.
You know what I mean? Like so it's when you can't sit there and just be vulgar, like, and be like, oh, well, this guy's dead. You know what I mean? Haha. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't have a lot of ammo outside of the shock jock kind of stuff.
I think you are right there too, is that it's almost like he's in there with an idol, almost like someone that he clearly looked up to.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Somebody that might actually be a mentor at this point too. So I think there might be, I like to think that I'm an alpha male in a lot of ways, but when there's a bigger, stronger alpha male in front of me, maybe I'm not, maybe I might, kind of take a little step back a little bit in that role. So I think that maybe that's what he's doing here too. Maybe that's something, what he's doing. Or he's
just frustrated and doesn't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Because Punk's gotten in his head, not the other way around. He might just kind of not know where he's going right now. I don't know. It kind of seemed that way a little bit.
It could be setting that up. I mean, it's
because
obvious
if they're stretching it out to Revolution, which is like March 6th, they can't just have them going back and forth week after week after week doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And
it's
especially
obvious
beating Wardlow, he probably doesn't know what the hell to do now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they are doing the Trials of Jericho. They're just presenting it differently, but it's the same thing.
Once they said Sean Spears you, it's like, oh, great.
So yeah, he's going to do Sean Spears this week. And then when he wins that, by whatever ends up happening,
he's going to wrestle Juventud.
No, he's going to have a handicap match against FTR.
That's literally what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and then he's going to have to wrestle 2021's Wrestler of the Year,
Nick Gage.
Or if he signs, he might have to wrestle one half of the tag team of the year, John Morrison.
Jeez. I mean, if they want to bring people in from his past, there's plenty of guys that they could do that.